everyone. Today we are beginning Chapter 9 in Geography, titled Climatology and Meteorology. In this chapter we study weather, climate, and the processes that control them. We will learn how the atmosphere works, how energy from the sun hits the earth, and how scientists are able to predict weather patterns. Now, let us begin with something very simple. Look at the sky today. Is it sunny? Is it cloudy? Is it windy? Perhaps rain is falling. All these conditions describe the weather. Weather tells us what is happening in the atmosphere at a particular place and time. But when we describe what a place is usually like over many years, we are talking about climate. For example, Kampala often experiences afternoon thunderstorms. Gulu is usually warm throughout the year with a distinct wet and dry season. Karamoja is usually hot and dry. These long-term patterns describe the climate of those places. In this lesson, we begin by exploring the atmosphere, the layer of air surrounding the Earth, and the solar energy that powers weather and climate. Let us start by understanding the atmosphere. Before we can understand weather and climate, we must first understand something very important: the atmosphere. The atmosphere is the layer of gases that surrounds the Earth. Although we cannot see it, the atmosphere is always around us. Every breath we take comes from this layer of air. The atmosphere performs several important functions. First, it provides oxygen, which living organisms need for breathing. Second, it protects the Earth from harmful radiation from the sun. Third, it helps regulate the Earth's temperature, keeping the planet warm enough for life. And most importantly for this chapter, the atmosphere is where weather occurs. Clouds form in the atmosphere. Rain falls from the atmosphere. Winds move through the atmosphere. Without the atmosphere, there would be no weather, no climate, and no life on Earth. Now let us briefly look at what the atmosphere is made of. Most of the air in the atmosphere is nitrogen, which forms about 78% of the atmosphere. The second major gas is oxygen, which makes up about 21%. The remaining small portion includes gases such as carbon dioxide, argon, and water vapor. Although these gases exist in small quantities, they play important roles in weather and climate processes. For example, water vapor helps to form clouds and rainfall. To deepen your understanding of the composition of the atmosphere, refer to Activity 9.1 in the SMARTLEARNER Senior 6 Geography textbook. In this activity, you will identify the main gases that make up the atmosphere, match them to their functions, and draw a diagram showing the layers of the atmosphere. In the next part of this lesson, we shall explore how the atmosphere is arranged into different layers and how each layer plays a role in supporting life and weather on Earth. Now that we understand what the atmosphere is made of, let us look at how it is arranged. The atmosphere is not a single uniform layer. Instead, it is divided into several layers, each with different characteristics. The most important layer for weather and climate is the troposphere. This is the lowest layer of the atmosphere, closest to the Earth's surface. Most of the air we breathe is found in this layer. It is also the layer where almost all weather occurs. Clouds form here, rain falls here, and winds move through this layer. Above the troposphere is the stratosphere. This layer contains the ozone layer, which protects the Earth from harmful ultraviolet radiation from the sun. Higher above are other layers such as the mesosphere and the thermosphere. Although these layers are far above us, they are still part of the atmosphere surrounding our planet. Understanding these layers helps us explain how weather forms and how energy moves through the atmosphere. To strengthen your understanding of this concept, again refer to Activity 9.1 in the Smart Learner Senior 6 Geography textbook. In that activity, you will identify the layers of the atmosphere and draw a labeled diagram showing their arrangement. In the next part of this lesson, we shall examine how energy from the sun enters the atmosphere and how this energy drives weather and climate on Earth. Now that we understand the structure of the atmosphere, let us look at the main source of energy that drives weather and climate. That source of energy is the sun. The sun constantly sends energy to the Earth in the form of solar radiation. Solar radiation is the energy emitted by the sun and transmitted through space as electromagnetic waves. When this energy reaches the Earth, it heats the land, the oceans, and the atmosphere. This heating is what causes changes in temperature, air movement, cloud formation, and rainfall. In other words, solar energy powers the entire climate system of the Earth. However, not all the energy from the sun is absorbed by the Earth. Some of the solar radiation is reflected back into space by clouds, ice, and bright surfaces. Some of it is absorbed by the atmosphere, and a large portion is absorbed by the Earth's surface, which then warms the air above it. These processes together control the temperature of the Earth and the formation of weather patterns. To deepen your understanding of how solar energy interacts with the Earth and the atmosphere, refer to Activity 9.2 in the Smart Learner Senior 6 Geography textbook. In this activity, you will examine how solar radiation reaches the Earth, identify the different ways energy is absorbed, reflected, and re-radiated, and explain how this energy influences weather and climate. In the next part of this lesson, we shall explore how solar energy is distributed across the Earth and why some places receive more heat than others. Before we end this lesson, let us briefly review what we have learned. We began by distinguishing between weather and climate. Weather describes the conditions of the atmosphere at a particular place and time, while climate refers to the long-term patterns of weather in a place. We then examined the atmosphere, the layer of gases that surrounds the Earth. We also learned that the atmosphere is arranged into different layers, including the troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, and thermosphere. Finally, we discussed solar radiation, the energy from the sun that powers weather and climate processes on Earth. Solar energy heats the Earth's surface and the atmosphere, driving winds, clouds, and rainfall. These processes together form the foundation of climatology and meteorology. In the next video, we shall explore how solar energy influences temperature patterns across the Earth and the factors that cause temperature differences between different places. Thank you for learning with me.